You know, you can say snowbike or you can say TimberSled, and at the end of the day, people come to the same conclusion. It's a bike with a track and ski. TimberSled is a very well-known name. But for a long time, snowbikes were, well, pretty much deep snow rigs. Yeah, you could run them in the flats, but they didn't really do well in any hard-packed terrain, and really only became like super playful and fun when the powder was deep and the hills were steep. That was then, but this is now, and when Polaris and TimberSled joined brands, big things happened. And from those big things, this is what was birthed. It's the 2021 TimberSled RIOT S, and it's a total departure from pretty much the norms of snowbiking. It's everything that a flatlander or a foothill rider could be dreaming of. To say that it's a departure really isn't strong enough. It's a revolution on one ski. The TimberSled RIOT is meant to bring that playfulness, the light front end, that feel of a motocross bike to the snow. And the original RIOT did that. Now for 2021, the RIOT S has arrived, and it takes things to kind of a different level with some features that I really didn't originally think that was a feature, and I didn't truly buy into. And the biggest thing that I questioned is overall ride height. It's 3 inches shorter. Where does that come from? I assumed from the travel, and I'm not really the kind of person who says less is more when it comes to suspension. That 3 inches of lower seat height sure does come right out of the rear suspension. If I use the solid rear strut, I get 10 inches. If I put the TSS suspension strut, where your moto swing arm shock goes, I get an extra 8 inches of travel, which is exactly how I'm running the YZ450FX. Now, if I was using a regular RIOT, not the RIOT S, I'd have a base suspension of 13 inches with the solid strut, and with the TSS, I'd have 21, 3 inches more all the way around. But take your expectations and thoughts of being disappointed and toss them right out the window, because this RIOT S, it's a beast to be reckoned with. So I can't comment on the solid rear strut rideability of this thing because, well, Polaris sends us TSS kits and we put them on. So I don't really know how that handles, but I can say with the TSS, the 18 inches of suspension travel makes this thing a total wheelie monster, and it's got like endless travel that feels super cushy. It's quite amazing. Okay, so the most unique and I believe appealing characteristic of the RIOT S is, number one, it's easier to get onto. It's 3 inches lower height, so this goes a long way for any rider wanting to feel more confident and less like you're riding a horse and needing a stepladder to mount the pickin' thing. Also, it allows me to flat foot the ground, and this is something that's really important because I really like that feeling of being in control, especially when you're wanting to stop or travel across harder snow surfaces. Putting that foot down and getting contact on the ground is a huge thing. Now, that second characteristic I was talking about is the ability for the TimberSled kit and the TSS to kind of work in harmony, and for that travel to allow the front ski to lift when you get on the throttle. It's a thing of beauty. And why am I so excited about it? Because typically snowbikes don't like to get the front end light by just twisting the throttle. Encouragement typically by way of a wind lip or an incline are required. But when it comes to this RIOT S, it's ready and willing to lift the front end, while at the same time sink into all that rear suspension goodness and give you kind of that berm hooking, aggressive, yeah, I'll say it, moto feel. So the RIOT S comes as a base model and it also comes as an LE. This is an LE, comes with really cool graphics. You can select it to match your bike brand, and it also comes with the Fox QS3 shocks in the back, and they actually do an incredible job of changing the way that this thing rides. And I'm really stoked with the QS3 shocks because the change in compression is noticeable in the stiffer ride. However, on the RIOT S, the compression change actually settles the front end of the bike, and it causes it to wheelie less and have kind of more of a planted front end feel. This gives it more of a similar characteristic to a traditional aero kit at full stiff. I find myself riding at soft and medium almost all the time, and I really only reach for the stiff setting when I'm looking to drop off something like a ledge or get the bike airborne. Now when it comes to traction, just because it's an S doesn't mean that you lose out on anything. It's still got the 2.5-inch lug, and I really appreciate that on this bike with the lower seat height. It means that your forward propulsion is still excellent, even in the deep snow, and it's like all TimberSleds, the track is tapered on each side. I find it pretty important to have this, especially on the RIOT S, as running in slightly less snow than say the 137 Big Mountain Aero kits. You need that extra taper to help the bike maintain traction, while not making the cornering of the RIOT seem too harsh or unstable. It's really an incredible harmony between the front traverse ski and spindle angle and the rear track and suspension setup that makes the RIOT S such a playful and maneuverable snow bike. I always try to find some negatives to point out no matter what it is that we're testing, but the problem today is that the TimberSled RIOT S delivers exactly what Polaris advertises. If you want more travel, go with the regular RIOT. If you want lower seat height and more rideability and something that's a little bit more playful and fun and flickable, go with the RIOT S. I mean, truly, I can't find any problems here.
If you enjoyed this video, there's two things you need to do right now. Make sure you click that like button and subscribe so that you don't miss any of our new uploads. We upload content every week and we want to make sure you don't miss out on any of it.